Hey, everybody, this is your girl, Liana Michelle. And as always, this is Faithfully Her. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today and coming to join the conversation with the very beautiful Jazmyn Bradford. And I don't know why I always do this, but it's my beautiful move.
Thank you.
Jazmyn was raised in Inkster, Michigan, in a single family parent home. Jazmyn credits her mother into molding her into the woman that she is today. She is a graduate of Michigan State University, and she also obtained her master's degree from University of Michigan in social work. So a straight up Michigan girl. Yay!
All
Um,
around.
Yes. Jazmyn is the chair advisor for the Inkster Delta Gems and a life skill coach serving the youth of Inkster. She is also she also works with a nonprofit organization called SOAR that we're definitely going to get more into, and it's and she's going to tell us what SOAR means and everything. I'll let her do that. She is also the owner of JB, the Resource Agency, LLC, which provides administrative support to community-based organizations. So everybody, if you could, please put your hands together for Jazmyn. All right, Jazmyn, again, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So let's just jump right into it because I too was raised in a single parent home and I credit my mother for everything. Like she's gone now, but I look at the patterns of my life and the things that I do, and they are still rooted into the lessons that she taught. So let's talk about that because you were also the oldest of how many children?
I am the eldest. It's a big mix of us. Altogether, it's 9 of us.
Ooh.
The the youngest three are foster children, but of course, those are still ours. And then there's like three in my mom's home, and then the other five are in my dad's home. So it's all been a good mix and always been the eldest and taking care of them. So that's kind of what brought me into, caring for everyone else in the world.
Well, how is that growing up being the responsible person for your younger siblings?
Hmm. I would say younger, like when you're younger, it kind of feels like you don't have a choice, right? So it's like it's not something I necessarily wanted to do, but as you get older, you start to see that you're more caring, you're more nurturing to your friends, to your family, to anyone that you come around. So I really do appreciate that part and where it comes from. Also, like leadership, I'm really, really big into leadership. And actually, to be honest, when I was younger, with me being the eldest and me having to babysit and all of that, was really, I would say, sheltered, or I didn't get out too much. So when I got to college campus, I feel like I only had like two ways I could have been. I could have been one, acting a fool because I finally got freedom, or it's like, we know your mom instilled this into you. You have discipline. So what can you do to still reflect that? So I just literally got busy on campus, like got on every org possible, all of that, just to stay busy, which that could be a whole nother thing for work-life balance, but it still it still helped me, and making sure I'm still nurturing to others. So that is
Okay. And that's a good thing because that does count. I've talked to a lot of people who said that they found their calling very early on in life, and they found themselves working in service and so forth, starting at a young age. So I really wanted to touch base on that too because you have been very instrumental in helping out in your community and doing positive things within your community. So with going to college, was it always that driving you that said, I want to do something that's going to be community as a community service, or did it just kind of happen? Because like for me, when I went into college, I was thinking business. And then I
Mm.
got to math and statistics, and the math got harder, and the statistics, and I was like, I need something where I could just read. So I switched over to criminal justice and then psychology. So was it just something that was always in you, or did it come as you were there?
Yeah, well, one, boot boot to the social science. I love seeing my social science. But two, yeah, I would definitely say mine was very similar. At first, because I was good at math and the sciences and all of that in high school. So I'm like, okay, I'm good at this. I know I need money. So let me go into like finance or accounting or something like that. And at first, like that was my major. I set it on there. I'm ready for the classes, but I was like, I know that's not necessarily going to make me happy. Like that's not something I want to do over time. So I started to really sit down and think before I even got on campus. I'm like, what do I want to do? Like, what is my passion? What's going to make me happy? Because that's the number one thing. If I'm not happy, I'm not doing it. So I was like, what? I have to make sure I use my time wisely, especially because if I just came back for me and the eldest, I'm not trying to go back home. I want to make sure this is the plan for me. So again, I just started thinking, I'm like, I really enjoy helping other people. And I actually had like this social work 101 class. And I remember it to this day. It was like the definition of a social worker. It said professional helper in it. So I was like, wow, that's what I see as myself, like a professional helper. So from that class, social work 101 actually taught me a lot about where I'm at today, because it taught me social work one isn't just about snatching kids, all those myths and stereotypes that are against social work. Like, so you're needed. Social work is everywhere. So that was one. So I'm like, okay. So then as I got onto campus, like I started just going straight, like I said, into organizations, really involved in Black Student Alliance. And then I started to see like the things that I'm doing, the community work that I'm doing, this is nonprofit work. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm interested in nonprofit work. So then I went into my master's, so will continue social work, went to community change to learn the strategies of nonprofits and all of that. So, and I'm still really enjoying this work. Like it really makes me happy. So I'm like, okay, like as long as I'm still having that feeling, then I feel like I'm in the right place. So that's where it's led me so far. It's just continuing to do different things with nonprofits and learning the roles. And yeah.
And I like that you mentioned that the myth. People do kind of box us in. I worked as a social service technician for a mental health clinic, and then as well as a foster care caseworker. And that was the myth that, oh my God, they're just going to come and take my kids, or, parents didn't want to let you in. They didn't want to give you the real information about stuff. And I'm like, I'm not out here to take your babies. I want you to have your babies. I just need to make sure that they're going to be safe. So let's just work on what you need to make sure that they're safe. And I had to find a different way of approaching that to kind of put those parents at ease, so where they are willing to work with me in a more conjunctive manner, you know what I'm saying, where they're not just fighting me tooth and nail every step of the way. Because baby, you face some stuff in the foster care system.
And I'm trying to be with you, like, come on.
Yeah, and I'm like, let's work together. We can make it happen together. It doesn't have to be a battle, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy you said that. And also that social work is such a broad arena. It's not just one thing. It's not just about mental health or, foster care. It's so much more to that, because everybody, like you said, everybody needs help at some point in time, where that social worker is going to be there, whether it's providing resources or just the listening ear. Everybody needs help at some point in time. So thank you for, just putting that out there.
Yes, of course. I'm always trying to figure out why people have this stigma on us, but I'm always going to correct them or let them know. I think that's the biggest thing, is just informing people, because once they understand, they're like, oh, okay, this is a way bigger purpose. And actually, after having that discussion, a lot of people come back and are like, I think I want to study social work. So it's all about awareness.
Yes. And I think it's just from past and previous experiences, what in the 70s, maybe that's what it was about. You know what I'm saying? When we look at the family dynamic, especially Black family dynamics, I had Dr. William Reese on a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying the same thing as far as the Black family dynamic. And when, you know, if dad lost his job, or, you know, wasn't enough money coming into the house and mom had to go to social services, it was like, oh, well, we can't give you food stamps because he's in the household, or we can't do this because, you know, dad is in the household. So it gave that stigma that social workers were not really there to help. They were only there to tear down. And I think that that has changed so much nowadays. Even in the 90s, when I had my son, it was like the same thing. I remember when I needed daycare assistance, and it was like, well, who's his daddy? We're not going to help you until you put his daddy's name on the paper. So honestly, in order for me to get any assistance, I had to give them his dad's name. And I remember his dad got so upset with me for that, because they came after him for child support. And I'm like, I didn't go down to the friend of the court. I just had to give your name because I had to be able to pay for daycare. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm working, I'm going to school. Somebody got to keep them. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is at that particular point. And I think it just, like I said, it creates that bad, it puts that bad taste in people's mouth when it comes to social workers and everything. So yeah, we're more than just kid snatchers. And we're more than just people who want to get rid of the dad. You know what I'm saying? And I think that over time, it has changed a lot from just being that one thing, and it's grown to being so much more than that.
And I'm appreciative of that, because I'm appreciative because I'm tired of trying to fight my title or try to defend the title. But I'll be okay.
But you're gonna be all right though, sister, because you out here doing big things. So let's go into okay, before we talk about the resource agency, let's go into, so you were in college and you joined different organizations. How did you become the chair advisor for the Inkster chapter of the Delta Gems? And what is the Delta Gems?
Yes. So when I was an undergrad at Michigan State, I crossed into the Epsilon chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I did a lot of work on undergrad. And then once we graduated, I was actually in the middle of the pandemic when I graduated, where I transitioned to a graduate chapter. And so I took time, we saw, ease in, still pandemic. And then I became the chair of Delta Gems. And so that was my first leadership position in the sorority. And that is actually a youth group where it's for high school. We have a middle school and high school program for young girls. But both of them serve the same purpose of providing like monthly meetings, workshops to make sure we're elevating our youth. So that is our main purpose. And I've been there for about 2 years. And then you also asked about the other organizations, right? I don't want to go too far.
Well, no, I was still in the gyms. So with the Delta Gems, I know you said, okay, so you guys do your monthly meetings and workshops. What exactly can a young person expect at one of your workshops? What are they looking to gain or participate in?
Yes, so they're all like life skills related. So in the beginning of the year, we're looking at like goal setting, college prep, career exploration, and then towards the end, we're getting to like money management. So we're trying, each month is specific to where should the youth be at right now, what should they be looking at to prepare them for their next realm of life, or after high school, next grade, whatever that may look like for them. So every month is some new tool that they can get, or some new guest speakers, resource, that they can have to make sure they can elevate.
And okay, so I have two thoughts. I'm gonna go with the first one because I didn't write it down. So what if you come across a young person who is not really wanting to go to college? Do you guys provide additional resources for those young women where you could say, okay, well, maybe college isn't for you, but here are some other options?
Yes. So specific for like that college prep career exploration time, we one, of course, we want to make sure the ones that want to go to college, they have like a checklist. So we have that going on. But that same checklist you can use for any type of program you may want to do after high school. So there's still more than likely going to be letter of recommendation that you need to do. You need to still build a resume. It's still important to get funding if you want to go to any type of program. So we do try to make sure that the curriculum or what we're sharing with them, it can be delivered or received in
Okay.
different ways from the youth.
Okay, okay. And that's good too, because I know for my mom was just like, no, you're going to college. You're going to
Mm,
college, you're going to college, you're going to get an education. If I have to kill you, you're going to get an education. She was just like, over your dead body. You
okay.
get an education. Like not hers, but mine. So it was one of those threatening things to where, and even when I went and I took time off, she was not happy when I decided to take some time off and to
Mm,
explore other things. And when I did take that time off, she was like, well, you got to take some classes doing something. You're not just gonna get up and go to work every day. You got to take some classes. You got to do something. Like she was
mm,
so big on education being the key to success and life and being able to sustain yourself and take care of yourself, that she was just like, I will kill you before I allow you to throw it away.
mm,
So, but I also think that it's important for people, especially our young people who are not big on college, to be
mm,
able to take that time to say, you know what, let me figure out what I want to do. Maybe I'll decide to go next year, but this year I just kind of want to explore other options. And I think it's important to be able to be supportive of
mm,
them in that moment of their lives, because if you push them to do something that they're not ready to do, then that's going to put an undue pressure on them, and then when they don't succeed, they're going to take that as a personal failure, and then they have to bounce back from that feeling of failure, and you don't want to embark that feeling of failure on anyone. So I think that that's good that you guys are providing them those additional options and resources for what they may want to do if college is not the path.
exactly. Yes. And that definitely stemmed from like my background. Like you said, when you got parents that's on you, like this is the only option, it's like, okay, thank you. It worked out for me. It worked out for me. Okay, cool. But like my brother, my sisters, they're not the same. So, it didn't work out the same. So I'm still going to support them. But just from learning that and how it affected us, I'm like, I have to make sure these new youth, or as they're growing, they have their options. They know they have these different options. So they don't feel limited. So that's definitely a big thing and a cycle we need to break. So
Yes, yes. And I like also that you spoke on money management. You guys are providing a money management because like I was born in the 70s, so I'm old. But so my mom didn't really like, even though she went through like a hard financial, and I always tell people the 80s was a hard decade for us. Like we were struggling in the 80s. But there was still never really those conversations about money management and how to balance a checkbook, how to just save or spend wisely and so forth. But when my son came along, she was like on him, like teaching him how to balance a checkbook and how to read the bank statements and manage his money and so forth. So he's way better at money management than I was. And even now, sometimes I go to him and I'll be like, hey, so I think I want to do this, but I'm trying to figure out the math behind it. And
mm,
he'll be like, okay, well, Ma, if you do this and you do this, then you could make that happen. So he is like the money management guy. And I'm still learning at 48, still learning. But so I think it's important that that is an element to what you're teaching them. How how are they receiving those type of workshops and classes?
they're actually very excited like every month. And that may have to do with how we present the information. Because a lot of times, a big thing for when the upcoming program is coming, we give them a program outline and let them know, like, what do you want to see for this specific topic? So one, we make sure they have input, and then, do our part in making it come together. And then when they see it, they're just looking forward to, okay, one, this is, some ideas that I put together that's in front of my eyes. And then two, it's like, okay, like I understand that these different components that you're teaching me are going to prepare me. And once they start seeing that, they're like, okay, like they really get into the assignments that they have, those checklists, their goal planners, like they really take it seriously. I mean, not just because we tell them that it's important, but it's because we show them why or how, and
Yeah.
make sure we get their input too. So that's been working out really well, and they just keep growing. It excites me every time. But yeah.
And that's good too, because you want them to be a part of the process. So allowing them to be able to communicate what they want to see, and then letting them know the whys. Like I didn't understand why credit was important until I had to file for bankruptcy. You know what I'm saying? Like I had no idea why credit was important. And especially for our high school students who are graduating, every credit card in the universe is going to be sending you credit cards and information. Like they want to destroy your credit. It's their ultimate goal to destroy your credit. And I was one of those 18-year-olds with 10 credit cards and just shopping and living life and maxing them out, and didn't understand the importance of credit. So kudos to you and your organization for teaching the importance of why credit is important, proper money management skills and so forth. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for your
Okay, so let's get into your agency. Well, oh no, before we go there, I want you to break down what SOAR is for everyone.
Yeah. So when I was in graduate school, I had 2 internships. It was like a 2-in-1. So I had SOAR, which stands for Strategies to Overcome Obstacles and Avoid Recidivism. And then there's also Survivor Speak. So SOAR does more like the life skills coaching. So that's where I got my training for that. Got that training from. And then that's also where I'm doing life skills training now. And then for Survivor Speak is more on the social justice side of things. So community mobilization and social action. So for both of those organizations, they have taught me a lot when it comes to nonprofit management, because I came in as a student intern, but since then, because I graduated from grad school 2021, and so I've been there for over a year, longer than what is expected of me, but it's just I learned so much. And because they had those familial vibes, I've always wanted to stay there. So I've just learned so much from them. We've grown a lot. I'm the program director for Survivor Speak, program manager at SOAR, and yeah, it's been a good time.
So what type of programs do you offer, and who are you targeting with these?
So for SOAR, we do like harm reduction. So for us, we are trying to target those that are going through like sex trafficking, human sex trafficking. If you are using of any substance or drug abuse, we understand that we can't force anyone to, make any changes, but we can support you until you make that decision for yourself. So we do like boots on the ground, weekly boots on the ground. So having like clean supplies and different resources available to those that may be using. We also have our life skills that's weekly. Right now we're in the Inkster area. So we like to meet with the youth that are going through ACEs. ACEs is adverse childhood experiences. So if you're going through poverty, if any of those different disparities or, those things that are really affecting low income families, we want to be there to support them, making sure that they get those resources and do problem ID and referral. Then for Survivor Speak, we do a lot of different work, mainly in Washtenaw County of Michigan, where we're working with the county commissioners and the township councils, all of them, to see what is going on Our biggest thing is operation accountability. So we understand that the people are the ones that put any officials in their positions. And so a lot of times, especially around elections, they do all these campaigns, the wish list, all that they're going to do. But when they get in those seats, they don't do too much or they don't do enough. So Survivor Speak, we're all about making sure we hold them accountable. And then we define survivor speak as someone that has lived through any type of circumstances and able to tell their story. So that could be trafficking, that could be something related to the councils, it could be bullying, anything where, again, we're letting survivors speak, tell their story, and how can we uplift them on a creative platform. So, yeah.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. And I like the fact that you say holding them accountable. I think that's one of the main things with the community as a whole, our communities all around. Like you said, these politicians, they get on platforms and they promise you the world. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then they get in that seat in that office and they either do nothing or they don't do enough, as you stated. And then we fall back as the people who put them in there, and we don't put that pressure on them to maintain or to uphold those campaign promises and to actually make sure that they're following through with the things that they told us they would do, which is the whole reason why we voted for you in the first place. I always say a lot of times with elections, it's almost like, what is it, choosing the devil over the devil you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to figure out which one is going to be the right one for you, because both of them are a little shady sometimes. So, you have to kind of really be careful. But one of the things that I look at is who is actually following through. Who can I actually say, what, they got in there and they put their best foot forward. They did all that they could. The things that they were able to do, they actually did. And then I kind of do the research on certain things, like, why didn't this education initiative pass? Well, because nobody in the House was supporting it. So it wasn't that they didn't try. It was the people that they needed to support that bill that didn't support it, which is why it didn't get pushed through. So, okay, because of that, I can understand and still support that particular candidate. You know what I'm saying? And then that you have to change the people within the House. It's not so much as that the candidate themselves, it's the people that's in that House that we have to get out there and change. So holding them accountable is very, very important because it affects us all. And nobody is immune to the effectiveness of the effect that it has on our families, our lives, homeowners, taxpayer. Like, if you're a taxpaying citizen, it affects you. So do your research, vote, and hold your people accountable in your district, your councilmen, all of them, hold them accountable, and stay on their lines, stay in their emails, keep the pressure on them to do the right thing by the community and the people who need it the most.
And on top of that, go to your city council meetings. That is a really big thing that a lot of people don't realize. That's how you get a lot of things changed or voted on and all of that. So knowing that, learning how to get your issue put on the agenda, a lot of our people don't know that, but it's good to know and to do your research. So.
Yeah, and we spend hours on top of hours on top of hours on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, but we don't put those hours into research and going to those meetings, like you stated, and doing our part to make sure. So if you take one of those hours away from social media and actually put it into researching your councilmen and the people who are running your city, then you can start to put change into place. And, when they say one person, one voice can make a difference, that is actually true, because what you realize is it's not just your voice. It's a whole lot of people out here that have the same troubles, the same voice that you have, and they don't know how to get it done either. So if you bond and together, then you take that one voice and you make it a choir. And that
Exactly.
choir comes through the door singing them praises, and they can't turn away. They can't walk
Okay.
away. They got to listen to you, right?
You was preaching on the Lord's Day. You better tell him. This don't make no sense. Woo. Yes, but that's very true though. Like, just please. And it really does break my heart because a lot of people are just losing hope in a sense. Like, and it really, really breaks my heart. Like, even the ones closest to me, and they know how I feel about it, but it's only you fight the fight, right? And then you try to have other people join the fight, and you're trying to tell them like it's okay, just keep going. Like, I understand no changes have been made in the past year, but just keep going. You have to at least get in the habit of it. So when that change does come, you can, feel proud of the part that you played in it. So
Mhm.
keep going, y'all, please.
Yeah, and you have to also understand the process. I mean, you can elect me as the mayor, and I could go in as the mayor, but that doesn't mean everything that I want to happen is going to happen like that. Even though they have to go through their processes, they have to go through paperwork and phone calls and emails and meeting after
Oh,
meeting after meeting. And like, it's not just, I can't just walk into City Hall and say everybody gets a car. Like, I can't do that. It's a
life is so
whole,
easy.
and because I know car insurance is a big issue, and I know that Michigan passed the new that new process where you don't have to do the no fault, or you can. So it kind of helped lower insurance rates for a lot of people. But look how long of a process that was. That didn't happen overnight. That was like years in the making. So we as the citizens, we also have to be aware of the processes and the things that have to go into making these new laws and these new policies. Is not just you can dream it tonight and it happens tomorrow. And I always say that we're such a microwavable society. We want everything to happen right now, and nobody wants to take the time to chop the vegetables, to marinate the meat, to let it simmer on the stove, stir it every 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to go through the complete process to make it happen. They just want it to happen overnight. And life just doesn't work that way.
It really doesn't. And I'm gonna have to take that one. Well, microwave society, microwavable. Either
Yes.
one. It explains very well. I get it. Okay.
You can have
No.
that, girl. You can have that. No, so let's get further into JB, the resource agency. And you are providing administrative supportive services to community-based organizations. So tell me about the company. How did you come up with the concept? And what type of supportive services are you actually providing? Because I might need to hire you.
Whoa. So yeah, so I actually started this agency or started thinking on this idea about a year ago. So I had graduated from grad school August 2021. And again, I already like from grad school, I knew I wanted to do nonprofits. So I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna start going into these different nonprofits. So even though I was still like doing volunteer work with SOAR and Survivor Speak, my internships, I started trying to go to different agencies. And I think I went to like 2 to 3 different nonprofits for like a full-time job. And I felt burnt out already. And I just got in for like 4 to 6 weeks, or like I can feel the energy of everyone feeling burnt out, or it wasn't as effective as I knew it could have been.
Mhm.
And so it just got to a point where I'm like, again, I cannot just stay here, or I can't, if I don't feel happy, if I don't feel like this is going to serve me overall, I have to remove myself. So I was like, I know that can't continue to be a habit either of like just leaving because everyone's burnt out. So I have to figure out how can I be effective. So I started to notice a lot of the time that burnt out or all of that started from the top, from like their administration and them not having that part together. So I was like, I know I'm really good at that part. I know I could be the most helpful there. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to start going to nonprofits, checking on them, their well-being, and I'm also going to see how can I support them in their administrative services, because a lot of these nonprofits, it's a small but mighty team. So there's a lot of work that has to be done, even like those tedious tasks that
Mhm.
can kind of take them from their genius, them focusing on their why of even creating the organization. Because when you start building your organization, you're not thinking about reporting every week or however that may be. Those are the little things people don't necessarily know they need to do to keep a sustainable foundation for their work. So for the research agency, that's what we do. So I provide virtual assistance, administrative assistance to community-based organizations. So the biggest thing is like email calendar management. So making sure, we're answering emails in a timely manner, making sure there's no inquiries or people that you can miss from, who you want to connect with. Do you have the calendar management as well? So that's if you have a meeting,
Excuse.
making sure no problem. Making sure you clean out, just make sure you have a very accurate calendar, long story short. And then you have the budget and fiscal planning of everything. So that could be reaching out to donors and sponsors. That could be making sure we have a accurate annual budget. There's also this strategy called donation cultivation cycle, which is basically a strategy to make sure you're reaching out to your funders, but not just when you're asking for money. Like, are you really building a relationship? So making sure you have those different type of programs going on. And then there's also like the project management of things. So making sure you have your agendas, your run of show, you have a accurate outline of how you want your programs to go. Do you have all your service book, all your professional service booked? Do you have your location? So making sure that's all together. And then there's also like the bookkeeping part, and then a subcategory of project management, but it's also most of the time included is document automation. So a big part, like I was saying, is reporting. So you may need your annual reports. You may need an infographic to show what has been your impact over the year. It could be your surveys, your different contracts. So all of those different templates, just making sure you have it. Even if you don't need it right now, you're going to need it as you grow as a foundation. So just make sure it's all there, organized, and ready to go.
So is this only for nonprofit organizations, or are you looking at any type of business, whether it's a nonprofit or an LLC that is providing a community service?
Yes, so it could be an LLC or a nonprofit, like you said, community-based organizations.
Okay. So yeah, I probably need you because I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time. Like, yeah, I probably do need you. So yeah, we're gonna be linking up and talking on the personal side really soon. I'm in the midst of doing. I have like two major events happening at the same exact time for this particular month. So I'm a little like, but once I get over that, once I get over that hurdle, then definitely I'll be able to focus more on the business side and getting it operational. Because right now I'm providing services, but I'm not getting paid. I've been an LLC for a little over a year now, and I have not gotten paid not once for anything. I'm like just pushing money out the door, just spending, but I haven't seen a return at all. And I'm trying to figure that part out. Like, how do I get paid in a and how do I get set up for the payments? Like, I know where I could get the payments from, but it's the paperwork and everything that goes into getting it set up so I can start receiving. Maybe they could pay with Medicaid now, or they, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. So just that struggle. I'm in that mid moment of just trying to figure out the balance of it and understand it in detail, because I don't want to just be signing my name away and not understanding the fine print of it all. And then I get hit up later on with the IRS and I sink. You know what I'm saying? So definitely need to reach out to you and someone who knows, how to move forward in the right way. So definitely we'll be linking up. So thank you, sis.
No problem.
So yes, and also just to let you know too, I love what you're doing in the community with the Survivor Speaks and everything. And just to let you know, Faithfully Her is always available to help. So whether it's donations, if you say, hey, we need donations for sanitary products or these type of things, or we're holding an event on, can you come and volunteer? I'm always down to help. And the people that have been on this platform knows it. They know I show up for them. I show up. I've hosted fundraisers, you know what I'm saying, to help raise money for other organizations and everything. So I'm always down to support and do my part to help, especially my people of color, people who look like me, who are doing things to help other people who look like me in the community, because that's important. And I just feel like I always say on this platform, it's important for us to always lend a helping hand to somebody else, because we didn't make it to this place without somebody helping us, whether it was a teacher, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, somebody was there to provide something for us in that moment that we needed it to help us elevate or get over a hump in our life. So I'm always down to help anybody that I can, to just make it, to make their lives better. And that's a part of my whole mission statement, that I just want to help people become the best versions of themselves. I want to see people win. And I remember when I used to work in mental health, and working with people who were battling substance abuse and stuff. And I was the supervisor over a housing department. So I would help get people off the street and get them into housing. But my thing was, in order for me to do this, you have to do something as well. And they used to be like, Miss Liana, you always making us, and you are. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not just going to give you a check to go get an apartment. Like, I need to know that you're serious. And the only way you could show me that you're serious is if you go through the rehabilitation program. Are you going to counseling? Are you coming to group sessions? How often are you seeing me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be, it's a process here. It's not just you come in my office and I'm gonna write you a check. Like, that's not the way this works. And I will always tell them, like, if I have to drag you pulling and screaming across this finish line, you will win if you want to, and I will drag you if I need to. And I still have a lot of people from that agency where if they see me on the street, or they'll reach out to me via Facebook in a message and say, thank you so much for what you did for me. I had somebody reach out to me on LinkedIn and sent me like this long letter of a thank you. And it was like, because of you, I got clean, I got off the street, I decided to start taking classes. Now I'm a peer specialist and I'm helping other people. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you pushing me to be the better version. So it matters. It really does matter to have that type of desire in your heart to help other people succeed. So thank you for your desires.
Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing with this platform as well. Because I remember when you first contacted me, like you telling your whole mission, your vision, and I just believe it. Like even just the whole spiel you just gave us, it's really genuine. Like you just don't see that all the time, but it's genuine when you feel it, what's the long story short. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your words, and I just bring all success to your platform as well. And I'll definitely take you up on that support, because I actually have a nonprofit called Project Step. So that's another thing for youth, where we'll definitely need some support up and coming, and actually a big emphasis on what you just said on just being there for other people. Because with them life skills, them kids, at first they come in, they're like, you never know where they're coming from, right? The environment they're coming from, the space, and they may have thought they lost all hope, but when they come across someone as genuine as us, individuals like us that's coming here to serve the community, they're like, wow, there's still people out there that care, that matters. And you know what? Let me sit here and actually care and really think about this too. Because, you're not giving up on me, so I'm not going to give up on me too. So that definitely is a big inspo behind the work that we do. And I appreciate you for being in the work with me.
Yeah, and it takes us, they say it takes a village, right? But just because that kid turned 18, you don't just drop them off. The village still has to be a part of the process. My son is 27 years old, and when I tell you I'm a mom every day, he be on the phone like, Mom, I know this. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a mom, so I got to tell you anyway. So,
Okay.
I'm your biggest cheerleader, but I also always have to be that ear reason and say, hey, make sure you're thinking about this and make sure, you're doing this and you're doing that and you're protecting yourself on this end and so forth, because you just don't stop. I have had people say, oh, well, they grown, they can do what they want to do. I'm not getting in. Well, no, because if you are the Medea of the family and you're holding yourself to that title and you want to be respected in that title, then that title comes with responsibility. You can't just be sitting back like, oh, I'm the Medea, give me all the praise, but Medea just letting all the kids run wild. Medea don't do that.
I never seen it.
Right? I'm
I
like,
never.
my mother was a parent until the day she passed away, and I was in my 40s. So, and I was still afraid that she was gonna throw that shoe at me. So you never stop being a parent, you never stop caring, you never stop trying to provide guidance. And speaking back to what you were saying about the young people who come into the program and they might be a little hesitant at first, or kind of reserved in how much they want to share of themselves because they don't know what they're getting back. I have been mentoring a young lady who 20 something year old little young woman, 2 children, and she was living in a shelter. And, we started this mentoring process with her. And when I first met with her, she was just like a little apprehensive. She thought she was about to be judged and so forth. And once we got to talking, and she was like, you are so much realer than I thought you were going to be. And I'm like, girl, yeah, I'm a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, life didn't put me in a bubble and say, we're going to keep you away from everything that's bad. Like, no, girl, I done been through some things. We could talk about it. But it allowed her to open up. And in her opening up, we've been able to make so much process, just so much progress with her. And I ended up doing things for her kids. So for the holiday season, her kids can have a great holiday and everything, and they don't have to feel the effect of their living situation in this particular moment. So, and I reach out to her on, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Let's go to lunch, get the kids together. I'm going to come and get you guys. We're going to go to lunch and we'll just go out. And if it's to the park or anything like that, just so they can have those type of outings and experiences and fun, because you never know what that shelter life is doing to them psychologically, either as little bitty kids. So you want to at least try to give them some hope and give them something to strive for and to reach for. But this young lady is doing so much better now. I'm so proud of her and the progresses that she's made. She's enrolled in school to get her medical assistance and everything. So she is just doing so much. She's doing, she's on that road to feeling better about who she is as an individual. And I'm just super proud of her for that. So that's the goal.
I'm proud of her too. She see this. I'm proud of you, girl. That's awesome. Well, honestly, just to take that push, it really, really just takes that push, and then someone accepting it too, which is the other half of the battle. So I'm always giddy about those. It's like we really the work is working. The work is working.
Right. And to let them know, like, you're not being judged. Everybody has a situation. Everybody goes through something. And your situation may not be exactly what my situation was, but we all have situations. And I'm not here to judge your situation or to judge you for your situation. I'm just here to say, how can I help? What can we do? What do you want to do? Talk to me about what you want out of life and what you expect or what you see. And one of the things I always ask people when when we're first getting into the mentoring process, I always ask them, if you had a magic wand and you can wave it and make your life perfect, what does that look like? And I always tell them to write that down for me. Write down what that looks like for you. If you could wave it and if you can erase all the bad and just make your fairy tale land. What would that fairy tale land look like for you in your life? And then we go over what they write down, and we see where can we start, where can we pull goals from this, and then we set those goals, and then we break those goals down into smaller steps, because I'm a behavioral therapist, and they teach us, you when you're teaching children with autism, you take a large step and you break it down into minuscule little bitty steps that they can actually achieve to get them to the larger thing.
Right.
So I always take those goals, and then we break those goals down into little bitty steps, and then we start crossing them out one at a time. And then before you know it, you've accomplished the big goal that you set. And they're like, oh my God, Miss Liana, I did it. And I'm like, of course you did it. I didn't doubt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's move on to the next one now. And then we go on from there. And that kind of helps them to see what they want and how they can accomplish it. Because a lot of times I always tell people, we look at the big picture frame, but what you have to realize is that big picture is made up of little bitty pixels. It's, you know, if you look at a puzzle, it's a million pieces to that puzzle before you get to the big picture of it. So you have to take that goal like that, one puzzle piece at a time. And once you do that, the next thing you know, you have the big old picture, and you can sit back and pat yourself on the back because you accomplished it.
Because you did that.
Yes, you did.
Honestly.
So yeah. So I would love to join and be a part of whatever you're doing, and, you know, help out in any way that I can, because that's just what I feel like my calling is, just helping.
And same here as well. I will definitely be here to support you, and we're gonna get it done. We can make
Yes,
some.
we will. Look at me making friends.
Look, having me.
So before we go, I've started doing something that I always preference by saying I took it from my boy Richard Heath. Hey Richard, from Ballin' with Rich podcast. One of the things that he does is like a lightning round where he just asks like random questions to kind of get to know you. So what I call it is oh my God, I almost forgot what I called it. The faithful freestyle. Girl, where's my mind today? I have been just off today. So what I call it is the faithful freestyle. And I'm just going to ask you some questions and you can answer them. And it's just our way to get to know you as the individual a little bit better. Okay.
I love this idea. Okay, come on.
Okay. So first question, what is your favorite time of day?
Favorite time of day. I'm kind of in between like early mornings because I like just sitting there and relaxing, and midday, that's when I'm the most productive. So it's one of the two.
Okay. Okay. And are you a dog or cat person?
Dog.
Yay for the dogs. Not that I don't like cats. Don't come at me, cat people, but I do prefer a dog.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
scared.
just feel like a cat can't do nothing for me if somebody trying to break in my house. Like, but that dog at least gonna bark, it's gonna yap, yap, yap. It's gonna let me know somebody is here that's not supposed to be.
That would be a little sneaky. I'd be like, I don't know.
Right, like cats sneak up on you, and I don't like that either. Like, announce yourself. So, yes. Let me ask, what was your favorite subject in high school and why?
Math. It was definitely math. And I don't know, numbers just came easy to me. So I got it done quick. I felt like the man, the one man. Yeah.
Okay, I heard that. Don't put that woman in on there. Because I was not good at math. So that's how I know I need you. Even now, I'm like, get the calculator. You said 3 + 2 is what?
Double check that.
I'm on fingers and toes, and I'm drawing lines and subtracting, girl. Yeah. So definitely need you for the math. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Hmm. I feel like there's one that's not coming to mind, but there's another one that always go for what you love to do, so don't go for your passions and your purpose and not just what you I don't know how to I wish I could remember the exact wording right now, but long story short, it basically said go for your passion and that is your purpose and not just what you feel like you need to do just because you're good at it. Go for the things that you're happy and make you happy.
Now, you know what? My son taught me that lesson. How
Mhm.
crazy is that? Like, your generation of y'all are so much smarter than me. But my son taught me that lesson because we had our heart fixed on what we wanted him to be. Like, my
Mhm.
mom, he made one statement as a young teenager, and my mother ran with it. And she was like, this is what he gonna be.
Mhm.
And that's that. And he was just like, Mom, that's not my passion. That's not what I really want to do. And allowing him to explore that passion has taken him to a level of success that it's just mind blowing. And I know that it's going to only continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just doing amazing. And he's like my inspiration. And he was the one who also told me, like, Mom, if that's not what you're passionate about, don't do it. He was like, I'm passionate about what I do. So I could go in there and work 17 straight hours and never get tired, never
Mhm.
feel bogged down, never feel like, oh, I got to get up and go to work. He was like, I literally love waking up, getting dressed, and going to work every day because it's what I love to do. He was like,
Mhm.
so find what you love. And yeah, so that is great advice.
Yes, find what you love so it don't never feel like work. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. That's the thing. Oh, boom.
So yes, I wish I would have knew that earlier though in life, because maybe I wouldn't have been so afraid to venture out and try things. You know what I'm saying? And actually put my foot in this arena sooner, because
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be on stage. Like, I wanted to be Erica Kane. So a part of me still wants to be Erica Kane. And I know you don't know who Erica Kane is.
It sounds familiar though, Erica Kane.
She is the character. Erica Kane was the character on a soap opera called All My Children.
Erica Kane.
Yeah.
I knew that sounded familiar. I remember her. She came in stepping and styling wherever she can.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to be a soap star. And then Diane Carroll hit the dynasty in the eight. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be Diane Carroll now. So, so yeah. But, I wish I would have really embraced that passion early on and invested my time into learning that craft and so forth. Because, you never know. I might be on a soap opera today. Who knows? But anyway,
The soap opera's still going, so the time's still here, ain't it?
right. It's still out there and available. Yes, sister. Like my
Mhm.
son say, Ma, you just can't give up on your dream. You never know when it's gonna hit.
Never know.
What is the thing you love most about yourself?
Hmm. I would say I'm very creative. I love forming things, or like someone just gives me an idea and it already starts forming in my mind very quickly. I was like, okay, I see we're on to something. I have to do something with that.
Okay, I like that. And if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Maybe fly, so I don't have to pay gas.
I heard that.
That's the only effective one at this point.
Heard that. What'd you say? No gas prices for you, baby, with the way they going up and down and fluctuating. But you know what I noticed? Every summer gas prices go up because it's the summertime. If you really pay attention to the trends, gas
Mhm.
usually spikes during the holiday seasons and more so in the summertime because more people are taking family trips. they're
Mhm.
traveling and so forth. So they spike those, they are very strategic. And when
They
they
are.
spike those prices. So if you really pay attention, you will notice like, oh, yesterday gas was $3 and today is the first day of summer and it's $4.50. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Y'all just gonna creep that up on us like we ain't see it.
right.
First day of spring and we got higher gas prices. Make sense.
Right. And then they'll swindle down during the fall season. You know, school starts, they kind of come down a little bit. Then the holidays come around, you might see a little bit of a spike, and then they bring it back down, and then it goes right. Like, yeah, it does that. I've noticed that trend over the years. It happens that way. One more question, and then we can start wrapping up. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh.
I'm gonna ask you to sing it, so be ready. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Hold up now.
She was about to get hang up on me.
Hold up now. Come on. Don't do me like that. Second off. Um, I'm trying to find one. There used to be one I used to love, and then I feel like I had to boycott it. Same Girl by Usher and so and so. But
Oh, okay.
I used to be my one. But I'm trying to find, I don't know what I haven't been to the karaoke bar since. So maybe I need to go back. Find me a good
Right.
one.
Okay, well, since you couldn't find that one, I am going to put one more, and this one might be a little bit tougher. Um, if you, well, okay, we'll do something a little bit easier. Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Daniel Dwayne Simmons the third. His name is also Diggy Simmons. You probably know his dad.
Oh, hey, little Diggy. Well, Diggy grown now.
Diggy grown now. He is. Yes. But yes, that's my man. Well, he used to be. Not no more. I don't know. He never.
Oh, now that
Yeah.
was something I wasn't even expecting because I don't think a lot of people know Diggy like that. But I'm a reality TV like connoisseur. I call it my ratchet TV because I love reality TV. So I used to watch Run's House. So
Yes.
yeah.
He was my fave. That's what, yes, I think we're like 2 years younger. So when I saw him on Run's House, I was like, oh my God. I feel like almost every girl was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I was one of those.
Well, I just want to say it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I have laughed. I have enjoyed this conversation with you. I have learned so much about all of the great things that you're doing in our community and your business. And I'm so looking forward to collaborating with you on many, 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 many things over the course of time. So usually I like to ask my guests to leave us with something you want people to know, a final thought, a word of inspiration, anything that you want to leave us with.
Yes. Well, one, I want to say likewise to you and just congratulations. Your platform is going to go big. I love it. I love it all. But I would just say, no problem. To add on, I would just say to everyone to take your time. It is all working out. Just stick to the plan, continue to learn and grow from the experiences that you are in right now, because it's definitely going to help you in your future endeavors. So just take your time and be patient and know that it's working.
Amen to that. Amen. Well, to my faithfully heard community, I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us today and being a part of this epic moment with this beautiful woman, Miss Jazmyn Bradford. Make sure you reach out. As you see, her information is posted. I will also have her information listed in the description box for you. So if you miss anything, if you're not sure what it says up here in this corner, it'll be in the description box, so you ain't got no excuses. If you are a community-based organization and you're like me and you're struggling with certain things and you need to understand how to do the budgeting and the financial part, or just maintaining your calendar or anything like that, reach out to Jazmyn and allow her to be the one to help you organize and be better at what you're doing so you can focus on the services that you're providing to the community. She is doing wonderful, wonderful work. She is a Michigan resident. She is, from Inkster, and y'all know Inktown in the house. Hey, Inktown. I have some friends that grew up in Inkster who, we're still friends to this day. One of my favorite people, I call her Auntie Kimmy. She is a resident of Inkster, so I'm out at Inkster at her house kind of often and visiting with her and just checking in on her, regularly. So I'm out that way all the time, and it's only about maybe a 10-minute ride from my house. So, like I said, anytime you need me, I'm there for you.
Let's say we about to connect.
Yes. So to everybody else, I just want to thank you again for tuning in. And as always, just remember to show up, show out, and shine, shine, shine. You guys have a blessed week in Christ, and we will be seeing you soon. Bye.
Bye.